Hello. Hi. So, I would love to be like Cancer and Leo and Virgo and Scorpio. I did not forget about you. I was just so convinced that you were already done. So maybe that in and of itself is a message for all of you. I mean, it could be, right? So I actually, like I said, I found my other camera. So y'all get a little treat in that you get to see less of me and more of the cards. I can disappear completely. Oh, wait. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. But then there's this awkward little whatever. So this space was made for me, right? And I'm like in a corner of the video instead of like full whatever, which is nice. Like I am very peripheral the camera. If you can see where the camera is pointing right now. Anyway. So I'm gonna go front and back and front and back. And when I go forwards, I'm going to pull from the top of the deck. When I go back, I'm gonna pull from the bottom. And yep, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. Hey Holly, how you doing? How are you today? Wait, yeah, that was last night. That was last night. I was like, didn't I already see you today? But that was technically yesterday for you because it was still not midnight. So it was yesterday. So we're gonna do Cancer first. If you haven't, I guess it doesn't matter if you have or not. I can just say it right. I'm using the double majors. It's kind of I'm having a good day. It's a little overcast and drizzly. But I'm glad it's a beautiful day over there. I'm enjoying it. The heat has just disappeared. So, Kings, Cardinal. Did I say Kings? Queens, Cardinal, Kings fixed, Knights mutable, element by element, Cancer for you. That is the Cardinal water, Queen of Cups. I'm going to look and see what's in between those two queens, and we'll take it from there. I've already done Aries through Gemini, and then Sagittarius through Pisces. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini went straight through. Pisces, I read backwards to Sagittarius. And like I said, I'll read this one front and back. So, sunshine and 50 degrees. What? Oh wait, yeah. I don't know what I was thinking for a second. All right, Cancer. Oh, from the top of the deck. You do have the King of Swords at the bottom of the deck for you, though. Give me 1 minute. I didn't timestamp this yet either, so I forgot to check the camera before I'm on live. So I'm just gonna like flip this. It's this one, right? Yes. I'm just gonna do a little finagling. Oh wait, can I just flip it? Is that? I think it's an option. Yep, it is. But I don't know. Oh yeah, it does. Nice. Okay. If I hold this up, does it read? No, it reads backwards. Boo. Um, Luckily, I can fix it with relatively minimal effort. I mean, I guess like all I got to do is drag and drop. Well, sometimes that can be effort. I have this text box that just keeps lock it. If I lock it, then it'll stop telling me that it's there. Text box is like, hey, I'm here. Let's see. Does the text read King of Swords? It indeed does. Nice. I told y'all lately that I love technology. Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh wait. Hold up. I still love technology, but oh yeah, yeah. Boom, like that. So there are going to be some things that are cut off, but I can only do so much. I don't have the techno savvy of Rob Kenobi. There we go. Right? Yes, but because I guess I could always relocate down here. This is causing so many more. This is causing so many more issues. Which one was I using? Here we go. There's not that many issues. It's completely manageable. It's fine. Everything is fine. Oh, goodness. Don't mind me. Like I said, everything is fine. Everything is A-okay. See, this is better than okay. This is what I wanted. Now I just have to. Boom. There we go. Y'all don't really need to see me. But if you want, my tiny little head is down here. So. Oh goodness. So I flipped the thing so y'all could see the cards so that y'all could see it as I see it. But then I was like, but wait, that means I gotta, like, I can't, oh gosh, so bright. I can't just have myself at the bottom anymore. Starbucks has been out of matcha and it's a first world crisis. That's not gonna stay. Oh, I blinded myself. Yay, I'm back. Okay, I was moving the camera. Or I was flipping it so you can see when I hold the cards up like this that I got the King of Swords. Rather than it being like upside down or whatever. And the sun is behind the King of Swords, which is interesting. We'll see if that makes sense for you, Cancer. Again, we're looking in between the two Queens of Cups. Your first three cards are the Knight of Wands, the Hanged Man, and the Magician. Okay. I promise I'm going to give you, it's going to be what it's going to be, okay? Take it if it resonates. If it don't resonate, don't take it. If you don't like it, if you don't like me, you don't have to be here. Wait. For some reason, that Queen of Swords was looking like the Queen of Cups to me. Oh. Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords. Interesting. What I like about these three in particular is that, like, so maybe the Queen of Swords has been a little harsh. Maybe the Queen of Swords is realizing that she's been a little harsh. And so she does some self reflection. She takes a look at herself. And it's almost like the Queen of Swords can be harsh with other people because she's harsh on herself. Almost a little Virgonian in that way. Or maybe Capricornian. Um, but then because she can be, as she's being more gentle and loving and forgiving of herself, she's like extending that same compassion or extending a little bit more lenience to other people. And then she picks the sword back up. Cool. Hold up, wait. No, that was the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Well, we do have our first Queen of Cups. So she immediately encounters the Tower. Great. You can't really see her, but she's there. Oh! Yup. Thanks for the reminder, Holly. I'll say like 9 minutes. And then I'll tighten that one up later. So Queen of Cups, the Tower, Queen of Pentacles. It was the Queen of Pentacles before the Queen of Cups. The Knight of Pentacles. We've been seeing this Knight of Pentacles in particular a lot. The Moon, the Devil. Love to see this one if we have to see one of them. Death. And the Queen of Cups. Somebody had this exact same layout. I think it was Aquarius. Excuse me. I think it was Aquarius. Yeah, because Pisces had like one row. Aquarius had a row and like this much. And then Capricorn, I think, had like this, but another layer deep. So we have the King of Swords. King of Swords and King of... No, I guess I shuffled the deck. No. Yeah. Hold up. Yeah, duh, that's the same King of Swords. That's the same King of Swords that was already at the bottom of the deck. Okay. Woo, I'm gonna get in the hang. I'm gonna get in the flow. Give me a second. Here we go. Oh, you can see the light, can't you? Let's see. Actually, I might just leave it. I think I'm just gonna leave it. So let's see if I can't pull one of these. Boom, 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 boom. There you go. See, I don't really like it like that. It's fine. Oh. The price is right, apparently. There you go. There we go. Oh my gosh, love it. So, Cancer. The Queen of Cups, the Tower, the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Moon, the Devil, Death, and the Queen of Cups again. I can't help but think that somehow this holds energy of that Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, Queen of Swords. I already turned myself off. You can't even see me. Girl, where am I? No, I don't want to do that. I just want to do this. Excuse me. Ooh. I can always just boom. There you go. Death card. So, as is, the only thing you have in the past is death. Out into the future is the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Devil. And the Tower is also here. You sit in a very sort of transformative spot, which I'm not too surprised about just because the last few or a few all zodiacs ago, you had this energy of like you were moving from one shell to another, like a hermit crab. When they get too big, they just like get a bigger shell, and then there's like the hermit crab shell swap meet. So it's like you were being pushed out of one shell, or you were transitioning into another one, but for some reason you couldn't move into that one. So then maybe you tried to go back to the shell that you were already in, and you couldn't get into that one either. The divine life was putting you in a position where it was for you to learn to live outside of your shell. And it's like as your skin is exposed to the environment, it's like it oxidizes, it hardens. Like, you know, like Cancer, you're not a slug or a snail. You're not a snail, but you get my drift. So that's why I'm not too surprised to see you at the crossroads of death and the tower. I think too, with this Queen of Pentacles, I feel like you know what it is that you want to do, but it might not necessarily be in terms of like, I mean, I guess it is Pinnacle, so it could be for work, but it feels more like there's something that there's like a goal that you have in mind that might not necessarily be occupational, but it feels like it involves a certain amount of money. But it's like the goal isn't necessarily like how do you get that money. So it's not necessarily a job, but it's like there's a goal that you need money for. So it's like maybe you're like you want a new house or you're taking care of something or someone or something like that. And to get a house or to help you take care of something or someone, like money would be helpful. Like it is, again, it's feeling like you have a goal, but that goal isn't feeling, it's not that it's absent of money, but um, it doesn't feel like it's a job. So because of that, it's almost like this got brighter as I turned the light down. I might be able to turn it off. What? You can still see. I guess it is like not 10 o'clock at night. So I'm going to just turn that off so you don't have to deal with the glare. Um, yeah, it's like something that you want to take care of, or it's like a long term, like a 10-year sort of thing. By this time, 10 years from now, I want to be able to do this. I feel like it might actually serve you to keep that in mind, to not be so fixed or so worried about like the dollar signs. Because with this Knight of Pentacles, it feels like things can really take off. So, because of that, it is this message of like, don't be too attached to expectations of a certain outcome in a certain arena. So, it's like if you're like, I want $100,000 to whatever. The whatever is what your goal is. As you set that and as you stick to it, like with this Knight of Pentacles in particular, it feels like the money could just come. I don't know if like you apply for a grant or if you get a promotion or someone, I don't know how the money comes, but it feels like with that in mind, then it comes with the moon and the devil card. I think this is why it's going to be really important for you to have gone through this, the tower and the devil. So something almost too, it's almost like something about where you are right now or what you've recently, hey codes of harmony, how you doing? Something about where you are right now or what you've recently gone through or how something is playing out is gonna almost come back later. But I don't think it'll necessarily be, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the exact same way. Especially like if you've gone through that process and if you've come out on the other side of it, like if you've learned something, then it's like take the lesson. The lesson from this will be what you employ later. So it's like if you were, I don't know, oh, I need to hydrate. I got this passion fruit tea lemonade from Starbucks because they don't have any matcha. It's not terrible. It's just like not sweet. Or it's like it's got a little, I don't know if it's like bitter or tangy, like a little tang, but a little bitterness, tart. It has a tartness to it. Then I'm like, some sugar would knock that out. But also, I don't want a whole lot of sugar. I think also with the moon and the devil, this could also be because like things proceed a lot faster than you may think. This could be like there's something that you've already done. I know I keep shifting the thing. Sorry. It's almost like there's something that you've already done that's going to pay out later, or there's like someone that has you on their radar that's like impressed with your work. It's almost like if you've been working at a job very diligently and you feel like you're not being appreciated because of whatever. It's like someone has been noticing you. And the work that you put in affects something. And so they may come forward with like a promotion or whatever. Or they may like introduce you to someone, like you may have made a network connection. And with the moon and the devil, it's like with the moon, you don't see it yet. Also, if there's a point of uncertainty in the future, again, that's where the lesson that you are perfecting right now, or one that you've learned in the past, is going to come into play. Because you could have also learned something in the past and you're currently going through a situation where you have to apply that lesson or apply that information, maybe for the first time, maybe for the 15th. But again, with the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Cups, and the Queen of Swords, there is a mellowing somewhere. And then with this devil energy, it's just like you're not going to fall prey or fall victim in the same way again. It's not going to play out how it played out. The lovers have conquered the devil, and now devil's chained up. Looking all sad with nowhere to go. Oh. I feel like there is a lot of like mystery here. I mean, it is the moon. But that's it. It does feel like, again, it feels like you're in a space of completion. You are moving forward, maybe not without a super specific destination in mind, but you're moving forward with a feeling or a knowing of something that you want to do. And it feels like it's something that positively, well, it's something that impacts others, or it's something that positions you in a certain type of way in the future. And again, if you keep that goal in mind as opportunities come up, as different, not necessarily tower moments, but it's like as you meet new people, as opportunities come up, as you're going about your day to day life, it feels like there are going to be opportunities, or there are going to be moments and times where you can almost like expedite something. It may require you, though, to be open to unfamiliarity. And that, like, if it's almost like a fool energy, but you're leaping into something that you don't know. Like, you're going to know and you're going to feel that it's getting you closer to your goal, but it may be in an arena, in an environment that you don't have a lot of context or contacts. But I think, again, it's like with this devil card here, it's like there's an element of self mastery there. There's an element of, um, I guess, maybe self confidence in a way that, like, you're going to get through it just fine. Maybe you are doing something new right now, or maybe you're doing, or you've just finished doing something that you never thought you would do. And it's like you've navigated that, you learned. And I think too, maybe you've learned like how you learn, or you've learned how to be resourceful in a way that can serve you no matter where you go. Or maybe there was just like a pattern of behaviors that you used to have that would prevent you from progressing. It's almost like, because again, the energy of a connect with that Knight of Pentacles, or the energy of connects in general. And so maybe in the past it was like you wouldn't really get to know people that like you work with, or you wouldn't like, it's almost like you would be like a little distant. But now there is someone that you've gotten closer to, or you've opened up, or you've been vulnerable in some way, and that vulnerability has led to some kind of opportunity. So it's like now you know the value of networking. And it's just like moving forward, since like if that is, for example, something that you learned in the past, it's like it's something that you were like a little open, a little vulnerable, whatever in the past, and it led to an opportunity that you might have right now. That was, it's almost like if you wouldn't have had that connect, if you wouldn't have had that person, it would have been a lot more difficult to get that. But it's like the same is true moving forward. So again, keep in mind your ultimate end goal, but also be open as people come into your life, as events pop up in a town near you, as whatever, because you never know when that's going to be the thing that leads you to the next thing, like you didn't know before. But again, by that point, I love that. I actually love that Devils is after the moon, because again, it feels like there's something about the unknown that you've conquered, or something about your fear of the unknown, or something about the way that you approach unfamiliarity that you've conquered, and it makes you like it'll make you a success anywhere. So gorgeous. You got Cancer in your chart? I'm kidding. So now we're gonna go backwards at 2732 Scorpio. I guess we're knocking out the water signs first. Since we're going backwards, I'm going to pull from the bottom of the deck for Scorpio. Scorpio fixed, King Water of Cups. Looking for the King of Cups for Scorpio. I feel like I need my glasses. That, gosh darn, no, I think that's a different Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, I think she was the one that came out before Cancer. Anyway, Scorpio, hi. Hello, welcome. Ooh, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, King of Cups. There you are. Scorpio, and then the Page of Cups. I feel like I need to talk about this. Oh my gosh. Your Page of Cups, did y'all see that? The Page of Cups has evacuated. Page of Cups is like, I don't have time for this. I got somewhere to go. I got somewhere to be. I have a message to deliver, and it's time sensitive. Time is of the essence. Oh, okay, Scorpio, gosh. Maybe you don't need, for the Scorpios that might appreciate a little bit of context. Because this one is like, let's go. Let's go. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like there's some element of feminine mastery here. Maybe you're a water sign, Scorpio. Scorpios are like pretty, I was gonna say chill. That's not the word I wanted. Pretty observant. Is that the word, observant? I'm so oblivious most of the time, sometimes, that I don't even know the word. Scorpios are like very observant, and like they listen between the lines, they read between the lines, they watch between the lines. And maybe there was a time where you used the receptive femininity of your water to be in touch, in tune, aware of others. And with this, I guess I can't necessarily super include it because it's your significator, but the Page of Cups is here too, so maybe I can. But it feels like now you're starting to do something. It's almost like, rather than just like being observant and receptive, now you're going to begin like expressing or you're going to begin working towards something. Something that was enfolded is going to be, ouch, just scratch my lip. Something that was like enfolded is now going to be like spreading out. Cool. Back over here. Let's see how many cards you give me, Scorpio. You feel like being nice to me today, Scorpio? You want me to not have to read 50 cards? Be kind to me. Be kind to me. You're fine, Holly. Judgment, which is what? Fire, Pluto, Scorpio. Page of Cups, Judgment, the Hierophant, Death, the Chariot, the Page of Pentacles, Justice, King of Swords, Queen of Swords, Queen of Swords again, King of Pentacles, the Magician, the Chariot again, the Queen of Wands, the Tower, the Sun, Judgment again. So this is how I've been doing it if you're curious. I don't cover the significator. The Hanged Man, Strength again, the King of Pentacles again. I think we've already seen it. The King of Wands, the Hierophant, the Star, the Moon, the Knight of Swords, the High Priestess, the Devil, the Tower, the Fool, the Page of Wands, the Fool again, the Knight of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Moon, the King of Swords, the Sun, Temperance, Strength, the Empress, the title card, Knight of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, the Lovers, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, Page of Swords, King of Cups. Oh my gosh, Scorpio, no. Scorpio, you are the cruelest of all. I should have known. The Emperor. The Emperor isn't so the Emperor comes out after that second King of Cups. The Emperor would have went on top of the Queen of Cups. This King of Cups is looking at that Queen of Cups too. Oh, snap. Y'all see that? Can y'all see my finger? I can't see my shaking finger. This King of Cups came out looking right at that Queen of Cups. Are you looking at her? Is she looking at me? I'm just playing. This Emperor energy, though, because it feels like it's something about you embodying more of the masculine Martian energy with a foundation in the feminine watery element. I've been cheating as I've been doing this. I've been modifying how I do this because I'm only pulling everything in between the two significators. So if your card came out right here, all of this would have been gone. But since you're right here, the only cards I can pull up on the table are Judgment and the Queen of Cups. I got to read the rest of these. So thanks, Scorpio. Oh, gosh. Ooh, it's so tart. It's almost suffering. Oh, Scorpio. So you have a lot of energy in the past. We've just seen with Cancer, because of the way I read this, it's almost like there's nothing that's going to be below the significator. Everything is going to be above the significator. But I can still take what's to the left and what's to the right. Somebody else had one that was like this, actually. No, because the card came out here. It was probably Aries, because I think it was the first sign I did where I was like, oh, this is too many cards. We're going to pull some off of the table. Um, and I think it came out right here, because then I expanded these. Um, but anyway, you have like a lot of stuff in the past, these two in the future. You're sitting at the crossroads of a whole bunch of energy, but on the surface, you're sitting at the crossroads of the Sun with the Knight of Pentacles and the Lovers, the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, the Page of Swords. And then there's like all of this sort of like in between. I honestly don't know how I'm going to read this. I don't even want to. I'll tell you what we're going to do, Scorpio. We're going to test my memory in a way. Maybe instead of testing my memory, we're going to have this be fluid. I'm going to pull cards off of the table as I do this. It's easiest to start in the future because then I can pull these off the table. And then I think I'm going to expand these out towards the future. If I had more space, I would just do it, but I don't. You may also be in like, honestly, you may be in, it's like the editing suite. Thank you. I found my other camera. I feel like I should probably like zoom out a little bit, but it's fine. Honestly, at this point, yeah, it's fine. It makes me think of the editing suite. The editing suite is Rasilian Suit of Swords. But it's almost like you're looking at everything, maybe, like everything from the past. It honestly almost feels like a life review. Like you're doing a life review up until where you are. I don't know if it's because of where you're moving into in the future. At the surface, it's the Lovers and Temperance. So maybe it is because with the Lovers and Temperance, it's almost like it is selecting things that align to whatever you're moving towards. The Lovers has a certain compatibility with it. The Angel is like the higher purpose. So that could be you like going through, like maybe you're doing spring cleaning and you're going through a storage unit, or you're Mary Kondoing your house or something. Does this spark joy? No. Does this spark joy or do I need it? No. Okay. Maybe you're like decluttering because you're making space. But if you're making space for something, it almost feels like nesting, which is again, there's something about the future or something about it's not even like the far out future. Cancer almost felt like the far out future, but it's like the present into the immediate future. So let's see. You have the King of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Lovers. So yeah, probably, maybe, definitely like going through old things. There you go. Going through old things and like to see if they still serve and or benefit you. Or again, it feels like you have a near immediate future goal in mind, or you're moving in a certain direction. And it's just like you can't take everything with you because you only got 24 hours in the day and you got to sleep at some points, you got to eat at some points, you got to poop and pee at some points. And then if you work, you got to work at some points. Like you're only human and there's only 24 hours in a day. Then we also have the Chariot with the Hierophant, and Temperance. I don't know if this is traveling light. I say traveling light because it's like with the chariot, the lion is down. So you're not going to be able to take everything that you were originally carrying with you. This is like some kind of higher purpose. Have you found your calling, Scorpio? Maybe that's what this is. Because at first the angel was just like the angel at the top was you knowing where you're going or knowing where you want to go. And so you're evaluating. It's like, let's say like this is the future that you're heading towards. And this is you up here with your Scorpio eye. You're evaluating like all of these things from the past and judging like compatibility. If it's compatible, it moves forward. If it's not, it falls to the wayside. Which again is like this traveling light energy because you can't carry everything with you. The lion is down. I think too, it's interesting that the lion is down because this may be like related to certain experiences that you had in the past that affected you, impacted you very, 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 very deeply. But what's so crazy about this is, or what's so interesting about this is, a lot of times, or most of the times, or sometimes, it'll be that energy of like, take the lesson, but leave the whatever. But it feels like you're almost being asked to leave the lesson as well because it was something that you learned when you were a previous version of yourself. It was something that served a previous time. And it's almost like for some of the things that you hold as truth, or for some of the things that you pull wisdom from, moving forward, it would actually be more detrimental than beneficial. I guess because the future is going to be such a drastic and stark comparison to your past, to where you've come from. It's interesting because, again, it feels like it challenges in a way the fixed water of your nature because you're fixed water, but it's like you're being asked to let it flow. The scorpionic ice caps are melting in a great way, though, because it feels like it's not like it was a barren desert, but it feels like there are some canyons that are already carved that will turn into wivers that will turn into rivers as the water flows. There are some barren lands, some drier places that will become fertile when the water flows. And it's almost like, again, it's like your realm or your domain or your land or your landscape is expanding. And so it's having to reevaluate again, like you're only one person and you only got so much time in a day. You only have so much energy to give. It's reevaluating how you spend energy and where you spend it. And again, it's like Marie Kondoing. Like, does this spark joy? Is this something that I need? Yes or no? Again, and it almost feels like nesting, but at the same time, it feels like you already are where you're going. That's why this is like near to immediate future, if not in the present moment. Like the future feels more like your present moment than this. Like honestly, I'm tempted to not even read anything else because it doesn't feel like it would really be beneficial or helpful. I mean, I guess the title card is at the heart of all of this. So everything that the title card touches, I'm going to pull off of the table because that's something for you to go through. Title card recently for me is coming to be this energy that the Queen of Cups in the SKT was for me of this is not for Patrick to read because Patrick has a truth that might not be yours that will lead him in a certain direction that is not for you to go in. Or it's just that like it's still the live life and find out card, right? Because either way, I'm not going to read it. So then I'll build these out into the future. And I'll pull these back into the past. Try to keep these. You're sitting on top of the sun and the wheel of fortune, but this is a mature sun. This is a grown up sun. So yeah, you are definitely already in this. You're already in that cycle. We do have the full moon in Scorpio lunar eclipse coming up to end out the first half of the 2023 eclipse season. I don't know if the eclipse in the later half of the year is going to be two again or if it'll be three. Sometimes we'll have with the solar eclipse, there's always a lunar eclipse, at least one. But sometimes you get a lunar eclipse before the solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse after. I don't know if it's gonna because this time we had the solar eclipse and then the lunar eclipse. Last year we had a lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. I don't know how it's gonna play out later, but anyway. Yeah, I mean it's the sun and the wheel of fortune. You've definitely and like maybe that's the thing too. It's almost like if you think about some of the things that were true when you were a child that aren't necessarily true right now, that you're not a child. Now that you can make, I'm going to leave these on the table because I'm not going to remove your significators. Um, they anchor you to this. This thing keeps shifting and moving. I guess it doesn't matter because all the cards are here. Um, then you also have the Sun and the Nine of Pentacles that led up to this. Okay, so in the most distant future, and then in the most distant past, these were present moments leading towards the past. These are past moments leading towards the future. Um, this is interesting. It's interesting because of how they're laying on the table. You see that? So it's almost like this top row comes to this significator and he's looking in that direction, hunched over in like serious thought and contemplation. This bottom row leads up to this one and he's looking into the future. So that's how I'm going to read this. I feel like I should read it like from the top to the bottom. This is so again, there was the energy of like there may even be like lessons that you learned in the past that you're being asked to forget. Or maybe instead of being asked to forget, you're being asked to be malleable. Fixed water. Fixed anything. You're being asked to be malleable. You're being asked to have an open mind and an open heart. You're being asked to manage your own preconceived notions and your own prejudices. Not prejudices in like, a racial or whatever way. Just prejudices in ways that's like again, it's like there's information that we have that's not provided by the specific scenario or the specific whatever in front of us, but we use that information to form a judgment before we give whatever's in front of us the opportunity to show us and tell us what it is. Right. And so again, it's almost like with your lessons, maybe there were like tower moments that you had in the past, or there were certain things that didn't work in the past, or there were things that were red flags in the past, but it could have been that it's like this was a red flag for you. Like, let's say for you, a red flag was someone who was, I want to say, not someone, It's just like the red flags in the past. It's like there was something within yourself that you weren't yet adept at handling, facing, and addressing. So a red flag for you in the past would have been someone or something that triggered that response from you. But now that you have managed that, now that you've healed it, you don't have the same response anymore. So it's like it's not a red flag in the way, it's not a red flag in that sense because it's not going to trigger that response from you. You have a healed and healthy response now. And so that in and of itself, it's almost like it opens doors and spaces that I remember I saw somebody shared on their Instagram story like yesterday or the day before. Someone who was like, it was basically like, I'm on my healing journey, I'm on my healing path, and I know what tempts me. I know what temptation is for me. And I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I might compromise what it is that I'm trying to do with my life right now. And so it's nothing against you. It's nothing against anybody. It's nothing against that place in general. It's like if you struggle to not shovel chocolate cake into your face, then don't go to like the bakery. You know what I mean? It's like I'm avoiding bakeries because I can't. I would buy up all the cake and then I'm like, I'm trying to get fit. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to have more of a balance. So until I've set a new standard of behaviors or a new, I want to say routine, but not a routine. It's like I guess it is a routine of behaviors. It's like until I set a new routine of behaviors, I'm going to avoid the bakery. But then you work through it, your diet is balanced enough that you're not craving sugar, or you've worked through whatever, you've gone through whatever had you emotionally eating sugar or whatever. Now you can go to the bakery because you're not going to buy every single thing in there and then eat it all within the span of 10 minutes. And it's not to judge, of course, but it's like because there's a recognition that you have of what something does to your body, or like the mood that it puts you in or something like that. But it was always a response or the result of a deeper issue. You've resolved the deeper issue. So now the surface level thing doesn't have to be as much of an avoid. I had a popcorn kernel on my tongue. So it's that type of energy. That's why it's like, you're leaving lessons, but it's not like you're leaving lessons. It's just that like you're different. And so it's like if you get over your fear of animals, now you can go to the zoo. You get on over your fear of heights, now you can get on the roller coaster. Like that. So I really don't feel like maybe oh gosh. I don't know why I don't want to read these for you, Scorpio, but I really feel like that's your message. I'll go through these quickly, I guess. So you have death into the King of Wands into the Sun. I like death into the King of Wands into the Sun, and it's the maturing sun, not the mature sun that you have down here. This is almost like as you're changing behaviors, as you're going through whatever you're going through, your desires change, your habits and patterns change as you're doing that healing. So you become a lot brighter because now there isn't that tendency to go and do whatever. It could be self dimming. Um, it could be literally anything. You've gotten over that. There's a lot back here that may be explained by this. Did you have the chariot? Yeah, you were traveling light. Maybe you busted up the chariot. Because look, the lion was about to attack the strength card and she had to defend herself. So now the lion can't pull the charioteer because the lion got whooped. Now the lion has a fear of people because it tried to attack a person and the person was like, you got the right one today. You're about to learn not to mess with people, and I'm about to learn how strong I am. Thank you for participating in this learning experience with me. I hope it's going to be as great for you as it's going to be for me. But again, with the star, after the result of that was some healing. After that healing comes the Page of Pentacles. After the healing comes a desire for a brand new experience. Comes a plan. It's like the mental, emotional work then inspires some kind of physical change. Maybe it inspires it in a way of, again, it's almost like it feels like a reduction of limitation. But it could also just be curiosity, right? Or maybe you just had an experience one time that really encouraged a strength from you that maybe you thought you lost or that you didn't know you ever had. And so now maybe you're in a space of like wanting to know just how strong you are. And so you seek challenge and opportunity rather than seeking a comfortable familiarity. Then you have the Queen of Swords, the Devil, and the Knight of Pentacles. I think where this almost starts with a lot of external, or where it is more externally stimulated, motivated, there's something between the Queen of Swords and the Devil that feels like accountability. Or it feels like you recognizing the part that you played in certain things turning out a certain way. This could also be, because it is the devil here, it could also be times in the past where you really thought that something was one thing, but then you find out that it's something completely different. And it could be that that's motivating you to more and more and more question or analyze whether certain lessons and belief in the past that served you, that kept you in the game, that got you where you are today, are worth continuing to hold on to, or whether it's reaching the point where they're going to conflict with where you're trying to go, right? So, like, let's say that you've had a tendency to be reserved and really hard to get to know. Not just because you're Scorpio, but because you're a person and, we go through things. But like, let's say that you like there's somebody that you don't get to know, and then like there's an opportunity that you don't have, or it's like you say no to going out with your coworkers after work, and they go and they have this amazing time, and they go to a place that you've been wanting to go to for a while, but you're like, no, because I don't do that. Then maybe after the healing and the self-reflection and other things, maybe you're like, well, why don't I want to do that? And it's like, oh, that's because this one time, blah, 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 blah happened, and da 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 da. And you're like, okay, I learned from that situation that maybe I shouldn't have been so whatever. But I can see, because of hindsight, because of how this situation played out, that what I knew as truth is relative, and that where I am now is completely different. I'm meeting different kinds of people. I'm working a different job or a different kind of job. I have a different type of working environment. My boss is different. HR is engaged. Um, the price of whatever is down. So you'd have more resources, more available resources. And again, it's like, it just feels like there's this zest that is like beginning to surge within you. And it's as you get lighter and lighter and lighter from all of the things that you've worked through. Again, it's the King of Wands heading towards the sun. It's this healing headed towards the Page of Pentacles. But in this Knight of Pentacles in particular, it's gaining momentum. And it might be gaining momentum because the rate at which you're going through this, the rate at which you're analyzing both the past and the present, and the more you see, you can do more, you can open up, you don't have to be so this, you don't have to be so that. The more you experience the positive outcome, the more it's like, okay. And it doesn't completely negate everything that you've been through, because I guess not every situation is going to be perfect, but at least now you know that not every situation is, or not every scenario is the worst case. And again, it feels like the more you live, the more you experience better cases, the more that you want to experience. And maybe that's also why the lion isn't pulling the chariot anymore. Maybe you don't need to be pulled to certain things or people or jobs or whatever. Maybe you reach the point where you're living, and so you lead yourself rather than leaving it up to chance or leaving it up to the universe or whatever. Like you're engaging, you're proactive, you are becoming more of that masculine Mars element rather than being solely the feminine water element. And then we have the lovers, the fool, the magician, the sun, the wheel of fortune, and the king of cups. Um, I've already talked about this. This being that, like, and again, it goes off of this Knight of Pentacles because the Knight of Pentacles is about living day to day, and it's it's picking up momentum. And I love that it's still the Knight of Pentacles because it's like there's a difference between something that is rushed and something that is like expedited. The difference is like it's like haste makes waste. When we rush into something, usually like there's a reason and there's a motivation behind it, and there can be things that we don't see. But this is like it's coming into such an alignment. It's flow. It's really fluid and it's really fast. There's a difference between like rushing something and like a fluidity to that thing. You're falling into the flow, feeling into the flow, leading the flow. And that's because again, so you were the one, yeah, you were the one that had the scorpionic ice caps. So it's almost like maybe in the past, and you didn't even necessarily fully realize and know, you were carving canyons so that when the scorpionic ice caps melt, it creates like water beds and like it brings this lushness to environments and life just like springs up. I think too, with this King of Wands in particular, there's an exchange of life force energy. So the life force energy that you are now like holding on to, exhibiting and exhibiting, embodying and radiating is also quickening things in your environment. Things are maturing faster. It's not rushed and it's not hasty. It's just reaching a space of maturation quicker. Now, these are still interesting to me. There's something in here. There's something in this magician in particular that feels a little dejected. I think that's the word. That's the word that's coming to my mind. Um, Something about the magician that feels a little dejected. Like this is so great and so positive and so everything. I don't. I mean, I guess that could be. It's just like, um, as you are making changes to your life and as you are heading in different directions or as you're doing new things, there may be some spaces that you used to frequent that might miss you. It's almost like if you had a drinking problem, and I want to say drinking problem because like you can drink and not have a problem. You know what I mean? But it's like if you had a drinking problem and there was a bar that you frequent, now that you've worked through the source of that drinking problem, you don't need to drink as much anymore. But because you're not drinking anymore, you don't go to the bar anymore and you don't see any of the people that you used to see in the bar. And it's like there may have been people in that environment that you got really comfortable with. And so this could almost be one of those like I don't want to drink, but I do want to see those people. This might be moving forward with this mature sun card. You can't see them down here. But this mature sun card, that might be why this sun is mature while this one is still juvenile. You can go to the bar and have one drink, a drink, or not drink at all. Like if you want to see those people or hang out as long as you're comfortable, not get as whatever as you used to, and then go home. It goes back to that, like some of the lessons that you've learned. It was the cake thing. You're not just whatever anymore. So you can go into the bakery and get a cake. You can eat a whole cake. But you can also work with your body to like whatever. I don't know if you go to the gym and work off all the calories or if you proportion your meals in a way where blah 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 blah. I don't know. But it's like if you want to eat a whole cake, you can eat a whole cake and it's not going to tear your life apart. I think also by this point too, because you face the underlying and because you fixed and healed what was at the root, even if you eat a whole cake, you don't necessarily have to worry about like falling back into eating 10 cakes a day. Right? Even if you have a drink at the bar at that point, like you're not going to lapse back into whatever. And that might show you something about yourself too. Or that might show you, that may reveal something as well. Take this as it resonates, obviously. Because it's like, I guess I would personally hate for someone to like feel that they resonate with this and be like, you know what, Patrick said that I can go out and do this because blah 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 whatever, and then it's like you relapse. The key was that like the underlying root, the underlying issue, the thing that drives someone to engage in a person in a particular behavior has been addressed. And that's what's like changed. That's what's different. There you go, Scorpio. Gorgeous. I also got to pull quite a few of the cards off the table. So, but again, a lot of that past stuff, it doesn't feel like it's necessary for me to read just because it seems like your head is on straight and it seems like you have a really good lens and a really good focus and it seems like you're really in touch and in tune with the truth of where you've been, where you're going, who you are, and also with the divine. So it's like you don't need me to pull cards on stuff that you can do yourself or that you already know, and it's all in the past anyway. There you go, Scorpio. Cake is best when shared with friends. I agree with that sentiment partially. Only if I'm too full to finish it myself. You know what I mean? Ooh, face down, a face down card. I'm actually going to start here. We're going to give you some cuts. Well, I guess just two, but that's fine. Leo, I'm going to do yours a little different. Yeah, thanks, no problem. And South Node is in Scorpio. We're concluding South Node in Scorpio before the South Node slips into Libra. So, Leo, you are 108.30. I'll say 109.00. Give me some time to. No, I'll say 108.30 because I don't have to shuffle anymore. So, Leo, how are we going to do this? We're pulling from the top of the deck first and foremost. I want to leave this card face down. There's a 1 in like not 78 because it's not a full tarot deck. There's a pretty significant chance that this one card is not the King of Wands. Now, if this card is the King of Wands, then I'm going to go through this entire deck looking for it. Ooh, okay. I don't have enough space to do this the way I want to do it. The Chariot, the Knight of Pentacles, the World, Temperance, and the Hermit. The Queen of Cups, the Hierophant, the first King of Wands, the Magician, and the King of Pentacles. So I'm going to read these. I'm just going to keep going. This is how I'm going to do it until I get to you. So this is a little different than how I've done the other ones, but that's fine. Hey, Steph. How are you? Hello, hello. Hello, hello. So, Leo, you first appear. So this is like the sun, and these are the rays of the sun. So if your sun is the lovers, then you are this primary ray due south. We have the King of Pentacles and the Magician on one side, with the Queen of Cups and the Hierophant on the other. The Queen of Cups and the Hierophant on this side is interesting because this is a bored Hierophant. Queen of Cups is giving pre-High Priestess energy, so it's almost like you can be in a space of intuitively receiving in a way. It's almost like you don't even need me to read for you. I did timestamp. Yeah, I got the timestamp. Thanks, Holly. Because it's almost like there's nothing more for you to learn from a Hierophant. Or there's something that your intuition is leading you towards that you aren't that isn't mainstream. And in that way, you almost feel a little Aquarius. I've never necessarily, like, Leo leads the pack. Leo is the trendsetter. But I've never necessarily felt Leo as that, like, oh, no, that's too mainstream. Leo is like not wanting to blend into not wanting to get lost in the crowd, sure. On the other side is the Magician and the King of Pentacles. So it's almost like there's something that you're not seeing, witnessing, or experiencing. There are some who are respected and valued in a certain space. And it's almost like, well, if you can't find it, Leo, then you might just have to be the one to create it. I don't think you mind. I don't think you would mind. Again, you're the trendsetter, the go-getter, the my brain died. I was gonna say like something about like the home run hitter. There you go. The trendsetter, the go-getter, the home run hitter. Like I had hitter in my brain in baseball, and I was like, I don't sports. I think though it's a space of co-creation. Was it Aquarius? So I'm using OBS, Steph. I'm using OBS. So whenever I turn the virtual camera off and y'all see this is the OBS sign. And I have two different cameras. So on OBS, they let you use like multiple inputs and then you can just position them on the screen. But that's how I do it. Unfortunately, it isn't something that you can do just, I don't think you can do it just through YouTube. Yeah. The lovers is here. I was gonna say something about that. Oh, this is there's an energy of co-creation here. And it was either Capricorn or Aquarius. And it was either Capricorn or Aquarius. Somebody had an energy that was very like whenever it's time for something to be introduced to humanity, whenever it is time for certain new inventions or certain knowledge or certain things to be unlocked, multiple people will get like the same download and they'll all use the tools at their disposal and their resources to reach a conclusion. And so sometimes we'll see things pop up in different parts of the world at roughly the same time between people who had no communication with each other. That energy is here, but it feels less like an idea that's floating the collective and more like you working with the divine to bring something to the world. And maybe again, maybe that's why the Hierophant is here. Because it's almost like there isn't, I don't know. It's not that it's necessarily like not being talked about. I mean, I guess it isn't. The divine is approaching you in some way. And it may not be like you may not be seeing specifically what you yeah, OBS is like OBS Studio. If you Google, it's free. It was free when I got it. They may have a paid version, but if you Google OBS, it'll pop up, and you can even watch like type OBS into like YouTube, and you can see videos of how to set everything up. Um, so yeah, it's just like a streaming program, and then you can either like with the new-ish. I mean, it's not super new, but in an update they have a virtual camera, so you can set your camera to OBS. So in like Zoom and stuff like that, or even here, you can do that. Or they have it where you can like actually stream. And OBS is for like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, basically anywhere where you can stream, and they have all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's how I do it. That's what I does. That's what I use. And you can get like really fancy with it, but I don't. I have, I guess, the interest, but I I don't. I don't. I just every now and then I'll think of it, and it's like I might do a little something, but I don't have it in me to go. I just don't. I guess I have limited interest. Um, and there is a certain intimacy with this lovers too. Interesting, Leo. And this doesn't necessarily have to be spiritual. It could be something that like maybe you're going about life and you're like, why don't we have this or why don't we have that? Because you haven't invented it yet, because you haven't created it, because you haven't brought it to the world. That's what this is reading like. So, step number one is you not seeing a physical manifestation, almost like, and with this Hierophant too, it almost feels like neglect. Like there's a certain need that's being neglected, or like there's a niche, maybe not even niche, but there's a population that's not being served in some way. And it's like, yeah, because you're the one who like is to bring it forward. You may be asked to like master it or to like live it, to put it into play before you start to speak it. Maybe not, but the King of Pentacles is here. So I think this too, it's like there's an alignment here between like what you say and what you live. Hanged Man. We're gonna keep going until we see the second King of Wands. This ain't gonna be perfect, but that's fine. It's getting real messy. I don't even know where I am anymore. Oh. Let's just put the cards on the table. It's about to get real boxy. Oh my goodness. No. Hold up, Leo, you came out. I missed you. I missed you. I was just throwing cards on the table. You know what? I am curious to see where you are, Leo, but oh my gosh. Well, I hope you stay safe out there. And the tree branches fall in the safe to fall zone. I'm not even gonna. Whoa, I feel like I should look. I feel like I should look. Wait, he's right here. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Hold up. I'm pulling up my iPad. I'm pulling up my phone. I'm watching the replay. I gotta watch it. I'm watching the replay. Cause I'm like, I don't know where that second King of Wands is. And then he's right there. I'm losing it. Did I just set him down? Okay. 4 minutes. That's too long. Now I'm just flipping cards. Queen of Pentacles. King of Wands. I set him down. I'm losing. I literally, because I was looking right at him, and I'm like, "Where's the King of Wands?" I remember doing this little triangle thing. Okay, I'm gonna rewatch the video. I'm gonna rewatch the video to see what those last two cards was. Watching the replay. I literally just picked it up. Like, where's the King of Wands? King of Wands. Oh, too far. Let me get some patience. Okay. King of Wands, the Star, the Queen of Cups. Boom. And it is these three right here. Oh, they form fire, upward pointing triangle. King of Wands, the Star, and the Queen of Cups. I love this because we originally saw the Queen of Cups with the Hierophant. Yeah, I feel like this just affirms like with the Queen of Cups and the Star. It's like you're connected to something like higher or whatever. I would say though, because this version of the Star card is pouring both jugs of water into the water rather than pouring one into the water and one onto the land. And then the Queen of Cups is dancing with her cup there. So I would say that I guess it's just like remember to or try to remain or try to maintain um the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, this could be you bringing something into the world. You approaching the world with whatever this pentacle is. Um but it's a certain openness to remain in, Leo. And I don't know if it's like to not be too serious or maybe it's I don't know. Something about that dancing queen. But she was also like, because if you look at her face, it makes me think of whirling dervishes. Um, so like it makes me think of dance as a method of spiritual contact. Um, which could be the Tandav of Shiva. It could be, I think, associated with Ganesha. Um, there are quite a few cultures where it's almost like where you like dance yourself into a frenzy, not a frenzy, but you get lost in the music, you get lost in the environment, and then you end up. If you've seen Soul, when like you get into the zone and then like you're in that creative space, it's like that. So maybe that's just you discovering, because it feels like it comes to you. And there was a request, or there is like, if it's something that you can put into practice in your own life, or if it's something that you can do and become a master of, you don't necessarily have to attain mastery. But if it's something that you can do and do consistently and reliably to see how it plays out in the real world, because the Hierophant is like very good at like real world. And I think sometimes we can reach up and be very like etheric and ethereal, but the real world sort of like context or application or contact might be a little whatever. That's why the Page of Pentacles was at the first card that came out. But it's just like, find how you flow into that space. Because I think sometimes when we get too wrapped up in being the voice or the face or presenting or bringing something forward, it's like almost like we get disconnected in a way as we try to like be like taken seriously or whatever. So it's almost like, if you start in one energy and then you start to like, oh, well, let me write this down. And then it's like, as you're writing, it's taking you out of it. Then it's just like, you might have to get back on the dance floor or go back and forth. It's almost making me, it's bringing to mind, I think it's I guess it's the Mahabharata. When Lord Ganesh recorded the Mahabharata, I don't know how to pronounce it. And he was like, I'll record it, but you have to, like, we're doing it in one take. And as soon as you're done, I'm done. And so dude literally like spoke the whole thing. And there were these moments in time where he would give himself the opportunity to like catch his breath or something by doing whatever he was doing. I don't remember specifically. But it's almost like that. I don't know. I don't know. But I would definitely say like find that that's what the Queen of Cups was. It's like when the Queen of Cups was in her flow, the star was pouring both jugs into the water. She was holding her cup up. She's receiving the water. And it's two in the water, none on the land. So I don't know. And again, because that's what Hierophant is good at. Hierophant is good at like grounding something, or it's good at applying like a 3D context to it. So if it's something that's like very whatever, how do you do that, girl? I don't know. That's for you, Leo. It's gorgeous though, regardless. Um, and that's what I got for you. So Libra, and then Virgo, and then I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I think some cards might have just went in reverse. Oh gosh. The Tower, I'm not taking, with the Judgment at the bottom of the deck. I ain't taking it for you, Libra. Maybe they didn't flip over. I just got I know, I think it's Imogen Heap. I don't think it's Frou Frou. I don't remember the song, but it's when she's like, I feel good all over. Do 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 do. I feel good all over. Okay, Libra. All right, Libra. Right, and like Virgo, I didn't intentionally do Virgo last, but Virgo was last time I ran through the zodiacs. I'm pretty sure. I'll say 129. I'll say 130 for Libra because I do want to find this song, and it'll give me a little bit of time. Imogen Heap, I feel good all over. It's frou-frou. Shh. Wait, hold up, hold up. It is frou-frou. Don't make a sound. Shh, listen. Keep your head down. Let's see, where is it though? I feel good over. Yeah. It's like at the end of the song. And then the last three words, even inside out. I feel good all over. I feel good all over. I feel good all over. Even inside out. I think it's that even inside out part that's important. Because that's like not only feeling good all over on the outside, but also feeling good all over on the inside and out. You know what I mean? What did they say? That beauty is only skin deep, but radiance, dear. Radiance, darling. The Emperor. Oh, I was like, can you even see it? The Emperor. What? Where do I put you? I'm going to pull you from the bottom of the deck, Libra. So we have the Queen of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Wands. Hold up. Hold up. What is happening? what's what is happening? So we got 3 out of 4 of the fire family with the Emperor here. The Emperor being Aries is your opposite. Are you? Is Libra? Oh, it's not. Yeah, there was a butterfly sanctuary on Mackinac that my buddy went to after I had already went home. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I missed that because I don't, I don't. I'm good. Libra, what's happening? Oh well, speaking of butterflies, did you see Temperance, or were you just talking about the dream? Because she's staring at that butterfly, or he got a cat tail in one hand and staring at the butterfly. What is this, Libra? Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, Page of Wands. Maybe there's a balance that you're finding. I almost want to look for the Queen of Swords, Page of, or Queen of Swords, Knight of Swords, Page of Swords. This is Aries, Aries. I'm reading. This is Cardinal Fire. That's Major Arcana Aries with Minor Arcana Aries. With the Knight of Wands looking over at Aries and then the Page of Wands. So maybe you're taking inspiration from an opposite or taking inspiration from an opposition. And then you're like, how can I apply this to my life? Temperance and the Fool. We'll save the Emperor. He's going to be our wild card. All right. Looking in between the Queens of Swords. Let's see how kind Libra will be. Oh, there's the first one. Hootie. The Fool. Which is also Aries for some readers. For some readers. For some readers. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. So, Queen of Swords. followed by the King of Swords, followed by the King of Swords again, followed by the Hierophant, followed by the Queen of Cups, Death, the Knight of Pentacles. This is like the only Knight of Pentacles that comes out anymore. I love it. The Queen of Cups, the Tower, the Queen of Pentacles, the King of Cups, the Hermit, the Chariot, the Hierophant, Judgment, the Hanged Man, the Lovers. Hold up. I know I'm like kind of very haphazardly just slapping these down on the table, but I feel good all over. What's that one song? Whoa, for the longest time. I don't. High Priestess. There we go. Page of Cups. Some semblance of order. The title card. The Empress. The Page of Wands next to the Empress. Yes. The Knight of Cups. The Sun. Death. Magician. The Knight of Wands. Justice, the World, and the Queen of Swords. I was like, Libra. You have the King of Cups and the Sun after. These are the last two cards. And then the Emperor is here. Does it mean anything? Who knows? Does it mean anything? Who knows? Does it mean anything? Who knows? Okay. Libra. So I'm going to do that thing that I do where I'm going to make this easier on myself. Oh, Libra. Don't do this to me. Don't do it to me, Libra. Don't do it to me, please. Please don't do it to me. Libra's like, leave every gosh darn card on the table. And I'm like, no. Oh, how do I read this? You've got a lot of energy. Everything is going out into the future for you, Libra. Which is like almost the opposite of Scorpio. But Scorpio had a reason. And you're in between the Sun, the mature Sun, the Knight of Pentacles. Oh, that's it. The mature Sun, and that Knight of Pentacles. For some reason, because I'm looking at her looking at the mirror, and then like everything behind the mirror feels significant. So I'm gonna do the same thing that I did for Scorpio. Eve, hello. I just got your text. You probably saw me read it. How are you doing tonight? I kind of want to read this backwards for you, Libra. What's interesting is like because of the layout, all of this is in the future, but I'm feeling guided, I'm feeling led, I'm feeling drawn to read it backwards, almost as if it were in your past. Now, I could take my title card shortcut. You didn't? Okay. Well, yeah, I just read it. It sounds like a good time. Sounds like an amazing time. Are we gonna? Are there gonna be any appearances? If not, it's cool, but it would be cool, but whatever you're comfortable with or whatever, not trying to force anything, but it would be nice, but I'm kidding. I could pull everything around the title card, but I don't wanna. Oh, Libra, 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 Libra. What are we doing here? Hmm. Why? Okay. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Well, it did say even inside out because it's who got that? Was that Scorpio? They got the yeah, because Scorpio had the Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and then it was Scorpio, and it was like all this inside stuff is now coming out, and I didn't like that. It was like inside out. Libra, just give me a second to like complain and moan. I'll be fine. I can't wait. You have to let me know. I mean, I'm sure you will. You have to let me know what y'all get up to. I feel good all over. So let's walk it back. Let's walk it back because you have the world. You can't see all these. Oops. Um, I wish I could like. It would just require me to sit down with my camera. I wish I could take y'all like. I wish I could zoom in like row by row to walk through this with you. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the cards on the surface. Yeah, there's only one. Okay. I'm gonna read the cards on the surface as I go back. So here's your Queen of Swords. And as because she's looking in the mirror, I'm gonna read back. She's right here. Wait, let me take myself away for a second. That's not what I wanted to do. You see her? She's right here. This is the top of her head. That's her crown. There she is right there. So I'm gonna go back until we hit this one. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back until we hit this one. And then I'm going to go forward and I'll read the cards under it. And then we'll head out into the future, culminating in the High Priestess. I mean, the High Priestess and the title card are both on the table, which are my two, like, mind your own effing business, Patrick. You're going to ruin it. It's a surprise. Shut up. Shh, stop looking. Close your eyes. But we're going to do it. So, Libra, walking this back. The Knight of Cups is facing backwards. Excuse me. So we have the World card, which is a card of like major completions. And then we have Justice, who is no longer blind. She's like, I see you. So it feels like there was a moment of a culmination. See, again, like everything is in the past, but because I'm reading it back, everything on the table is in the future. But because I'm reading it backwards, it feels like it's in the past. But I think I'll continue. See, but this will be a lot of cards to read out into the future. Maybe I'll do it like a story. The fun of doing this is I get to feel out how everybody wants to be read as the cards come out, and while also making it easier on myself by not reading all the cards that come out, while also remaining true to the message that's coming out. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not feeling because usually, like, I would pull all of these off the table and then we would just figure out what to do with this. But there's something about like, because when she puts the mirror down, like all of this is in front of her. So it's almost like these are the things that she's not seeing as she's reflecting or looking back. But it doesn't feel like it's for me to remove it from the table either. So I'm just going to do the thing that I said I was going to do. Fringe. I love Fringe. Fringe is a good show. Season 5 started kind of interesting, but it was like, woo, at the end. Oh, Libra, I don't want to do this. It feels like so many cards. Okay, I'm just going to just read it going forward. This is the time marker right here. The time marker going forward is the world card. So if this world has happened, if it's happening, or if it is yet to happen, that's how you will place yourself. And then moving forward, whatever's under the Page of Cups will be our new time marker, and then I'll read it forward. Okay? So this world card is an energy of completion, as always. Usually there's an energy of a as above, so below, as within, so without with the world card, but she's dropped the two batons. So it's almost like that was useful. It was helpful to get her to this completion, but after this completion, she moves forward in a new way. And it's not that as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without stops being true. But this is like, because again, this is all her reflecting in the mirror. Hey, David, how you doing today? This is all her reflecting in the mirror. Oof. Well, backwards, the magician dies. So, spoiler alert. So this is the point where it's like this as above, so below, as within, so without. This major series of lessons has been completed, and she's moving forward, draped in the purple, whatever, looking sickening, looking fabulous. She feels good all over. She's the one that's feeling good all over, inside out. um, and there's something about it. It's like it's something about the way she moves through the world that you can tell that a lot of that stuff, like it's resolved within her. And then here we have Justice, eyes wide open, no blindfold, almost giving the side eye to her. But maybe it's just like this is an energy. It's like when you come into whatever this completion is, it's almost like you get a little bit more not discerning, but it's almost like you don't allow anything and everything into your life. Because it's almost like, justice is like, this is what I've done, this is what I've accomplished, and I'm looking for energies that meet or exceed. Either you meet me where I am, or like where I'm going. If it's before that, it's just like it doesn't have time for it. And again, I love that this justice doesn't have the blindfold because it's after the world card. There's something that she is no longer blind to. When she was blind, that was the as above, so below, as within, so without. That's when you encounter mirrors and projections of yourself for you to face the things within self that you refuse to see internally. And so, because you don't see it internally, you're faced with it externally. Again, her here, she doesn't have to do that anymore. The two batons are on the ground. It's this crossroads in the back. It was this point on her journey when she hit that point. It could have been some great insignificant test or tower or not even dark night, but that is what signaled to the universe and to her that like she doesn't need that anymore. Now again, as she's balancing things out in the external, I think so too. It's almost like because the blindfold is off, there are things that she's going to be able to see that she wasn't able to see before because she could only see as deeply. It's that, like, we can only meet people as deeply as we meet ourselves type of energy. But it was just like she needed that projection to conclude whatever she was concluding. Now that she doesn't need the projection anymore, she can see it as it actually is. Then we have the Knight of Wands almost coming in with that energy of Scorpio that was like, now that I've healed this, I'm ready to live life and explore. And now that I got the car, I'm ready to drive it. The Knight of Wands is a passion, but the Magician is sitting here bored. And then we see the Magician laying face down in the Death card. Honestly, this kind of sort of feels like the things that you used to enjoy, the things that you used to want to do, you no longer want to do, or you no longer find enjoyment in it. And then maybe death is like you feeling bored to death because it's like all of your usual stuff you no longer want to do. But with this Sun card in particular, like this is about finding those things that the adult you, that the mature you, that the now you enjoys. And so you may get like diminishing returns on the stuff that, again, that you used to like to do, but it's just a moment of exploration. What's interesting is I don't know if it plays on this, the world card energy, because the Knight of Cups, his horse is heading forward, but he's looking back. And it makes me think of that. I don't remember what it was that was like progressing backwards. If you're regressing, if you're going backwards, then your back is facing the direction that you're moving in. But if you're progressing backwards, you're facing forward and you just so happen to be revisiting something. There may be certain things, almost like who did I just read? Leo. No, it wasn't Leo. Almost like for Scorpio. Back to Scorpio. Um, it's like there were things that Scorpio avoided when Scorpio didn't have the ability to remain stable in those environments. And I'm like, obviously, like mental, emotional stability or whatever to maintain whatever where they were without like going into the deep end. But there's almost like this glitching stability or this glitching destability because it's like you are like both who you are but somebody else at the same time. And it's not to say that you will like go back to whatever, but it is this energy. It's like it's almost like now again that you don't, now that you're facing those things within yourself, you encounter less projection and more so of other things as they are. So it's like there may be something that if you were to revisit it or if you were to see it again, you would realize that like you were projecting onto it, thinking that it was projecting onto you. But it was being the mirror that you needed at that time to see what you weren't able to see. And then we have the Page of Wands here with the rabbit. It's making me think of the Fool card. So this, it's like now you can take these fools. Like this is the Fool, but there is no cliff. There's no drop off. It's like solid ground. The leap is a step. And the rabbit, I love the fertility of the rabbit heading right into the Empress because that's what that feels like. And it feels like this new, it's almost like one of those videos where you see like a baby or a full grown person who's like colorblind and then they get the special glasses, or who's blind and then they get glasses, or who's deaf and then they get a hearing aid, or who's whatever. And it's like when they can look at the world in a new way for the first time, or where they can hear the world, see the world, engage with the world in a new way. It's that kind of energy. Again, because of after you step beyond the precipice of that healing, then you start to experience the world in a richness that, again, it's like it was almost the way you balanced your own scales blindly in the past that kept you from seeing, interacting, engaging with the world in some way. It kept you from enjoying things in a way that you may find enjoyment after. And again, like this is feeling, it's just, it feels like a fool, but there's no cliff. Now, what is birthed from this Empress, where that abundance leads, or whatever the nature of that is, Patrick doesn't see. That's a live life and find out. What's interesting is it feels like you could also be here. Like this could be the beginning of your recent past or your past. And now you're here after this Empress, or you're here in this Empress energy. And it's like, okay, well, now what do I do? Like, what am I birthing? What is this for? Fertility, abundance. Like, where is it? Well, the cup is empty. So, oof. And the fish is on the ground. I'm going to pull all these now. Maybe that empty cup is spirit being like, well, now it's up to you. You decide where you go next, what you do next. And maybe you were used to a certain like spiritual direction. Because again, with this world card and followed by this justice, there's an energy that's like with you unable to see certain things, then somebody else had to or something else had to come in and play a role, had to be a mirror so that you can see. Why am I talking about that? Because the cup was empty in the page of cups. um the cup was empty in the page of cups, so it's like now you get to sort of like step out in a way. And it's just like there's no direction. Oh, that's what it was. Because it feels like this, it's like a free flowing, a free form part of your journey. And before, it feels like there was a lot of guidance and there was a lot of direction, almost because there were a lot of things that you needed that you weren't in a position to necessarily see because of however you balanced your scales. Maybe you were already, as a pre-justice energy, maybe you were already super firm in like how you judged and evaluated certain things to the point where you weren't necessarily open. Again, Scorpio kind of sort of had a similar message. Um, but with Scorpio, it was like, it's interesting that this energy is kind of where Scorpio is. Um, but it's like you're asking like fixed water to be fluid, but you're cardinal air. Air is also a fluid, but it's something about the scales of Libra or something about the inanimate nature of the symbol of Libra that can almost have it sort of like stuck sometimes. Because it's inanimate, it doesn't necessarily grow like the other signs might. But it again, because it's an air sign, it's like it plays more on the mind, and the mind is always growing, even when it seems like it isn't. There was something, I forget what it was. There was something about neural connections and stuff like that. I was probably walking in the cemetery yesterday when it came. Um, So that was us walking back. Now, moving forward, we have the King of Swords and the King of Swords. This is the King of Swords that stands in observation. This is the King of Swords who is ready to move. I think maybe there's a point in time because the cup is dry. And so maybe there was a tendency for you to be like higher minded or more subtly focused to the point it also plays on that the justice without the blindfold. It's almost like you weren't necessarily seeing things as they are or seeing things in a clarity of what they were. And that's what this King of Swords is doing. From this new perspective, he's able to see the world and actually see the world. And once he gets a fair, it feels like justice is shifting from the Queen of Swords to the King of Swords. Because the Queen of Swords is like either she's focused on herself or whatever. It's almost like I think it was Virgo Capricorn earlier. Maybe it came out for Cancer. Um, how like Virgo can hold other people to the standards that they hold themselves at. And it's like it's too much for Virgo to do to Virgo. But if it's too much for Virgo to do to Virgo, it might be way too much for Virgo to do to somebody else. But it's almost like the same is true for Libra. Because again, like Libra is the scales. Libra is the one that balances the scales. Libra is the one that's almost like, and again, it's like with Libra and energy, you kind of got to be careful not to get stuck or not to get fixed in like, well, this is how we always did it. Well, at my old school, we would never do this. At my old school, we would do that. At my old school, Miss Frizzle was like, girl, was you getting on the magic school bus and going inside of people's bodies and going into space and going inside of volcanoes and looking at what's at the bottom of the Marianas or whatever trench? Was y'all doing that at your old school? No. Obviously, this is not your old school. I think her name was Phoebe. It might not have been. But it's like, this isn't your old school. And you can't keep treating it like it is. But there's something about like after getting a fair, clear vision of what is outside, now being in a position to hold that prejustice. And it's almost like, I don't know if it's necessarily a heart awakening or a heart expansion, but there is something about like factors that you weren't necessarily considering before, or things that you weren't necessarily like noticing. Maybe like some ways that you weren't necessarily like reading in between the lines to see. It's almost like getting hung up on the words that someone speaks, but not being able to like read their like gestures in their face as like upset or whatever. It's like it's not, there's some kind of something that was missing before. But now it's seen. Now you can reach these fair judgments. And now with the Hierophant, it's weird for the Hierophant, but I'm just going to read it how it feels. It feels like you are like, it's almost like if, because we are minor arcana, we are court cards. We're not necessarily major arcana. And I just said this feels like the new pre-justice, but instead of it being justice, it's the Hierophant. But it feels like it's the Hierophant because it's like in divine order. Now there's something about your judgment. There's something about the way that you see the world that falls in line more with divine order. It's also interesting because it's like it's divine order rather than, it's the divine order of the Hierophant rather than the divine law of justice or the upholding of divine law and justice. And then we move into the Dancing Queen with death. So I said that this would be the second time marker. The first time marker was that completion. The second time marker is when you come into a space of being able to see the world as it truly is, being able to see others as they truly are, being able to see a situation, a circumstance as it is. There's a lot of things that are like blank or a lot of things that are neutral. And so the magician is not here again. But with that old dead magician, it's like being able to see what you're working with rather than assuming that you're working with. It's almost like, you know, if a boss has two equally qualified people that he's looking to hire and they go out to lunch or dinner or whatever. There's one person who is like doing whatever, like is amazing, and they're talking and they're like, they're really selling it. And then there's the other person who may be a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved or whatever. And after the end of the lunch or whatever, the guy is like, thank you so much, super talkative person. Like, you were really selling yourself, but unfortunately, we're going to go with the quieter person. And the talkative person is like, why? Like, is there something that I did wrong? Is there a reason why you're going with the other person? And the tagline, the moral of the story, the punchline is like, well, that person, like, you asked for salt before you even tasted the soup or whatever. You added salt before you even tasted it. The other person tried the food first, and then if it needed something, they added it. And it's like that. There's something about like the projection, or there's something about the way that you were seeing things before, where you would come in and try to balance a situation that you didn't even have a full understanding of, because of the things that you weren't seeing, because of the things that you weren't valuing or considering, because of whatever. And so it's like you're adding way too much salt to something that's already like properly seasoned. If you would have tasted it before you started adding stuff, you would have known that. Now, with this King of Swords, you're in that position to do that. Now, with the Hierophant, you can add more value to things, or you are much more in line with, again, something about a divine order rather than a divine law. Then we go into that Queen of Cups. This dancing Queen of Cups feels like a rejuvenated and renewed sort of pre-high priestess energy. It's a Queen of Cups who understands, because of all this, because of coming fresh off of divine order, especially. It's a Queen of Cups who understands now universal spiritual divine lingo. And so it's a Queen of Cups that can actually hold conversation with the High Priestess. It's the Queen of Cups who can like get a little bit more information rather than just like a random assortment of whatever and then being led and guided through the moon to its meaning. It's like having the sun there instead of the moon. It expands. It's like because the moon reflects sunlight. So it's like you get some illumination, but when you put the sun there, it's like it massively widens that spotlight. And that's what's going to be happening. And then you have death into this Page of Pentacles. I think death into this Knight of Pentacles. That's not even, is that the Magician? No, that's not the Magician. That's just somebody dressed like it. Oh, that is the Magician. Because we see all the tools on the table, or on the tools that were on the table are on the ground. You see the cut that's knocked over, the sword, the pentacle, and death is like, you tried to magician your way out of this, but death comes for all. Where's the wand, though? The wand is the one thing I've never been able to see. What's interesting is, though, in this card, it doesn't feel like death has come to claim the magician. It feels like death has come to encourage the magician. Like, and it's because of the way the horse's knee is. It's almost like, if you lift someone's chin and you're like, chin up. Like the horse is telling the magician, like, chin up. Hopefully it doesn't dislocate a jaw or something because it's a horse. You know what I mean? But this might have been some area of despondency in the past. This is where that Page of Cups was, and the page that was the Knight of Cups. Sorry, this is where that Knight of Cups that was progressing back was, and that was the energy of like maybe there's something about the way that you can see something now, or something about the way that something will speak to you now that it didn't necessarily back then. And now it's again like death is encouraging this magician to like pick up the tools. I think again, coming off of this deeper understanding of divine order and this heightened, exalted high priest, like not high priest, well, sure, but this exalted Queen of Cups energy, the one who's really able to understand, it's like now, of course, you can use those tools in a different way. I think death both speaks to the way that you used to go about things you don't do anymore, but it's also the way that you're going about things now, or the way that you're going to go about things brings change into the environment as well. And again, it's almost like with the scale nature of Libra, there was something about kind of like making the most out of the situation that you were in before. And so it's like you got used to using the tools of the magician at like a 10% spiritual capacity. And the 10%, it's almost like that 10% spiritual capacity matched in some way, or was proportionate to in some way, your ability to look outside of yourself accurately, or your ability to interact and engage with others accurately. You're like, how many times out of 10 are you actually trying the food before you just start seasoning it, assuming that the people in the back don't know what they're doing? It's like, girl, you came to us for us to cook for you. Have no faith in the staff in the back, okay? They've got a Michelin star or 5. I don't know how Michelin stars work, but they know because they got them. Anyway. So again, it feels like it's both the way that you're working with your tools is going to change, but also the things that you produce with it inspires change. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles and this Queen of Cups. This Knight of Pentacles and this Queen of Cups, now it feels like you having a lot of momentum. Again, it plays off of Death and this Magician. You experiencing a lot of momentum, you moving into spaces that previously it's like it would have been difficult to hear the divine in that way. Then it moves into the Tower. It feels like the Tower is sort of preventing things. So you may find yourself instrumental. Oh, I just noticed that the High Priestess is here. We have this exalted Queen of Cups a lot closer to the High Priestess, pre-High Priestess energy. We end with the High Priestess after the Lovers down here. Love it. Anyway, that's a sneak peek, I guess, looking forward. Also, that plays in here because this Queen of Cups feels a little despondent. Like, I'm not getting, it's almost like when you don't know what to do in a situation, so you kind of just do what you used to do. There's something about you being more open and you moving in ways now. I think also with this Tower card, there's something about a gentleness to that death. It feels like, again, the things that you create with this Magician, it's the death that results from it, but it's a death that's a lot gentler than what Towers at least used to be. So it's almost like you would be in a position to, again, after you can observe something where it is fully in its truth, free of the old lenses of perception that you used to have before that major world energy, before justice took her blindfold off. And now you being in a space to like raise that sword and make a judgment. It's also interesting, I guess. I didn't really read the Queen of Swords because she's the significator. But it's interesting that first she speaks to this King of Swords, and the King of Swords listens to her, and then he picks up his sword. So it's almost like she passes the mantle on to him, but he sort of rules in his own way, different than everything that was ever. So it's like a maturation of this energy as well. But it's like this gentle death. It's like when someone delivers a truth in like a loving and compassionate way, or when someone like guides you to a truth rather than like like shoving it in your face and like rubbing your face in it. And you're like, oh my gosh, why is it so rough? Truth hurts, don't it? I want a donut. Anyway, then we have the Queen of Pentacles. This Queen of Pentacles, I think the Empress sat here. The Empress sat here. The title card was here. Page of Cups was here. So this Queen of Pentacles is sitting under the Empress. And then the King of Cups is sitting under, I forget what that card was. Doesn't matter. This King of Cups is sitting under that Queen of Cups, though. That's what's important. Then we have Death. Or we have the Hermit sitting under Death. Something about the synergistic energy of the purification of Virgo married to the transformation and rebirth of Scorpio. But this looks back on all of this, and then that gets us back here. So there are different, it feels like there are different milestones in your journey. There are different time markers. There are different nodes in your web of destinies. I guess if destiny is a web with many different nodes and the whole thing together is your fate, then there are different fated points where you reach significant change that's accompanied with significant reflection that is then preceded by a significant like leap forward. It feels like the Hermit is one of those reflection points, just like we started with this Queen of Swords earlier, looking in her mirror backwards. But it feels like after you come into this new understanding of divine order because of the lens of truth that you see the world with, and as you grow closer to the spirit and the divine, and you understand more from the High Priestess, and as you are changing, healing, and also helping others to change and heal in like non-towery ways, it feels like the giant is actually like trying to reassemble this tower or it's like making the tower easier to navigate. This Queen of Pentacles, it feels like, honestly, this Queen of Pentacles feels like she understands what the Empress was pondering on before. The Live Life and Find Out card came out. That could be, I mean, it's Live Life and Find Out either way. It's not for me to read for you. Either it's not for me to read for you and you already know, or it's not for me to read for you. It's for you to also live life and find out. It's important to not go in with a preconceived notion. Watch your preconceived notions, Libra. I mean, by this point, I feel like you would know that. That was one of the major things with Justice taking the blindfold off. But it becomes really apparent in the way that Libra operates here with this King of Swords. The the South Node is about to shift into Libra, so it could also be something that we collectively experience in that South Node Libra. Or it could be for Libras. Take it as it resonates. Um, this King of Cups, though, here is interesting. There's something like the Queen of Pentacles is not the Empress. It feels here like there is a recognition of like what is not your responsibility to do or provide at the same time. This King of Cups, though, is interesting. I don't know, because the King of Cups is facing the Hermit. The Hermit is facing the King of Cups. The Hermit is shining his light on the King of Cups, which is almost giving me a little bit of Keeper of Karnak energy. It's almost giving me the energy of it's the blank slate. So the fog of Neptune and anything that is easy for us to superimpose things from the inside onto. So it's like the light of the star in this hermit will accentuate any of the darkness. It's shadow. It's both. The light from the hermit, like, oh, it's like a prism, but it 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 shines. It's facing the King of Cups. So like the shadows, the darkness, everything will be like shown behind him. And the depth of the root of the shadows and the intensity to which it's not healed will accentuate it. It'll look bigger and darker and it'll whatever. Like at this point, feels pretty healed. This would be like for Lagoo, basically. Like you passed the test by this point. And there are some things, of course, like with every light there is a dark, with every dark there's a light. That's the duality of the universe that we live in. First there was darkness and a lot of creation stories, and then light was created. Everything's born from darkness. We emerge from wombs. Seeds, plants emerge from the earth. Right? But it's not about the darkness, it's about the shadow, it's about what's unhealed, unresolved. These two, this was the world card, this was that justice. When it was the world and justice, it was that when you weren't looking at yourself or when there were things that you would auto balance to the point where you wouldn't necessarily see it, you needed the mirror to see it. Now that you don't need the mirror anymore, all of this is done without the mirror. So it's almost like this new clarity through which you'll be able to see the world. The hermit comes in to maybe prove to you that you look at yourself in the same way. So up until this point, maybe with the world card, it's like something just happened and the world is more vibrant, colors are louder, sounds are more savory. I was going to say succulent, maybe. Sounds are more savory, colors are louder, sights are whatever. I'm trying to mix up the senses, but you may not necessarily know that's why things got so vivid and so bright. But this is the point where Hermit would remind you, if you forgot, inform you if you didn't know. Everything, basically, since I started, is because you see yourself in your fullness and in your truth. And because you see yourself in your fullness and your truth, it is your Libra nature to now be able to do the same with the world, to see it in its truth. And in truth, it is very vibrant, it is very colorful. And maybe in times of old, it would have been a little drab. Then we have the Chariot. I'm not going to take your significator off the table. I don't want to cover it either. I don't know why. Then we have the Chariot, which is Cancer energy. But there's something here. Oh, loved it. With that Knight of Pentacles energy as well. Because it's almost like in the past, whenever you would evaluate something, it's almost like you would stop. And then you would hold your court proceedings and then whatever. There's something about this Chariot energy that's mobile, that can move. It becomes much more fluid. It becomes much more seamless. It's something that's done in real time. And again, after this reminder from the Hermit, I'm gonna pull these off the table so I can bring the future up. Now we're getting into like what lies ahead of you behind that mirror that you couldn't see past. So a lot of this may be like revisiting. I already begged you. I'll do it. I'll do it like this. I'll put them up here. I'll put you down here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was like, hold up. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So this was the bottom row. Here's the Chariot. I'll just leave this other Queen of Swords here. Again, I don't want to pull the significators off the table. So with this Chariot, it feels like much more fluid. It feels much more in real time. And then we have the board Hierophant. That feels like, I don't know if, oh, I love that the Emperor is here. We started with you looking at Aries like, maybe I can do that. Hierophant was the Emperor is my wild card. Oh. So the Emperor, I was like, I'm gonna set the Emperor off to the side. He's gonna be my wild card. Don't know where he's gonna go. The only place I would think to put a wild card is on top of a title card. So next to the Empress, in essence, was the Emperor that she couldn't see at the time. Live life, find out. You may be understanding your process in a way more deeply, or you may be refining your process. Again, death with the magician, it makes sense. Because it's almost like in hindsight, it's reading that like what you may attribute to Empress energy, or you may think that you're an Empress energy, or you may think that you operate in some way in Empress energy. Empress is Venus. Venus rules Libra. It is one of your cards, but it feels like you're actually like Emperor. Or maybe it's like you may have thought that you were in Empress energy, but you were actually in Emperor energy at some point. But they are like the Emperor balances the Empress. So for Libra, it's like it would be interchangeable because they have the same value, they have the same weight. Because they have the same weight. it would be interchangeable for Libra, to Libra especially. Anyway, it feels like the Hierophant doesn't really have anything to do. I don't know if that's the point where you learn. Give me a second. Libra, it definitely feels like you're meant to be someone of impact, for sure. That came through in the Death card, also in the Tower. It feels like, again, the Hierophant is feeling more like the divine rather than the Hierophant. And so it's almost like, because there was the point where the cup in the Page of Cups was empty. And so you were learning a different kind of spiritual integration with life. So it's almost like there's nothing for the divine to show you. There's nothing more for you to learn from the divine. Also, with this Chariot, again, coming through with the energy of like, well, if the lion isn't going, then I'm just going to have to walk. There's something about like you not needing as much confirmation, or you not needing as much synchronicity, you not needing the divine as much as you may have in the past to lead you and guide you through life. Now you live your life, now you walk your life. This Judgment feels like as you are on your path, as you're living your life, you just like you are the angel in the sky. You become this beacon that inspires other people. And it's almost pulling off of Leo, how it was important for Leo to live and be something rather than just having this spiritual string theory, right? It's like, well, make it work. It was something that our other Hierophants, like, maybe it wasn't necessarily something that they weren't doing, but it's like it's something that it's almost like the correlation is lost when it comes to the real world. Anyway, there's something about the way that you live your life moving forward that just like, again, it was in the Death card, it was in the Tower. It's a lot gentler than Towers, but it doesn't sacrifice an impact. In fact, it's almost like because it's so gentle, it increases the impact. But its impact maybe in a different way. Right. All right. Have a good night, Eve. Oof, it's almost been 2.5 hours. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Sweet dreams. And I hope that whatever you have to get up early for um, goes smoothly and safely, and you have a lot of fun. So then we have the Hanged Man, the Lovers, and the High Priestess. Honestly, the Hanged Man, the Lovers, and the High Priestess. This, I don't know if this is at the end of your life. I feel like I've just like walked through your life with you, Libra. It feels like with the Hangman, the Hangman, the Lovers, and the High Priestess, like this is you meeting face to face with the High Priestess energy that you had to go through a certain like ritual or whatever for. But it's not ritual in the sense of ritual. It's just that like, again, that's why this feels like it's at the end of your life. When you go and you rejoin spirit, and then you're like, oh, like you meet all your guardian angels, you meet your spirit team, you meet source or whoever. Like this is a face-to-face meeting with the high priestess where in the past there was always some separation, and like this ritual was just anything that you did to bridge that gap. So it's not really ritual. It could be like meditation, it could just be your intuition or whatever. It's like there's a difference between seeing someone on the internet or talking to someone over the phone and meeting them in person. This is talking on the phone. This is meeting in person after a life well lived. A life very well lived, Libra. This is so weird. It's so weird. Just because, again, like it really feels like, not that I just read your whole life, but it's like the trajectory moving forward. And it's nothing super particular. There's nothing particular at all. It's just like who you become and how you move through the world and how you impact others without even necessarily trying to. And it's like you are so good at being the love and light of the divine that it's not that people don't need to pray anymore. It's not that at all. It's not that the divine goes anywhere, but you become a living example indeed, rather than one who takes on a platform or speaks from a pulpit. You know what I mean? People see it in action rather than just in word. Virgo, Virgo, Virgo. Ooh. Libra took it out of me, Virgo. I'm just playing. I can always find the love in my heart can power me through 10 hours of reading for Virgo. Okay. We're going to say 2:30, 1:30. I feel good all over. Excuse me. 2:30, 1:30 for Virgo. I was on Libra for an hour. I literally just spent an hour with Libra. Oh my goodness. The Libra timestamp is 1:30. It's fine. Every now and then, you know, it happens. I don't mind. Virgo, 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 Virgo. Virgo, 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 Virgo. Think. Ooh, who got this? Somebody else got this card. This Hermit. Oh, that's you. That's you, Virgo. That's you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Am I going to read between the Hermits for Virgo? No. Unless there's only like 2 cards. Then yeah, sure. No, I won't. I like this Hermit. I don't fully know why. It's like there's something about, so this Hermit is able to take the star in its lantern and turn it into fire. And then it feels like when the Hermit is ready to move on again, he like opens the lantern and all the fire gets like sucked back into the lantern and it reconstitutes the star. So in that way, it's almost a Phoenix energy. But there's a warmth. The reason why I love this Hermit is because there's a warmth of the light that he carries. That's why. So, looking before and after the Knight of Pentacles. The only sad thing is, Virgo, that I can't get that active Knight of Pentacles for you because it's your significator. You're guaranteed to have it. The one that's been coming out for like everybody. I didn't even mention the cards. It's fine. I'm going forward. I could have went forward and backward. I should have went forward and backward. You know what? I'm going to do it now. How many cards is this? I'm going to count it. Because it'd be the same whether forwards or backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 26 cards deep. Now we're going to get 26 off the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm going to pull off the top and then the bottom and then the top and then the bottom and then the top and then the bottom. Since either way, I would be on you, Virgo. Oh, we got our first one. So we have the Hangman and the Queen of Wands, Aries, Pisces for Virgo. Let's see if this will work. Oh, and then there's our Knight of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Pentacles. Top of the deck, Strength. Okay. So we're going to put this Hermit down here. Virgo, a lot of people got this. A few signs got this configuration. Somebody just got it today. It wasn't Scorpio because they had a lot of cards, and it wasn't Libra because they had a lot of cards. It could have been Cancer, and it wasn't Leo because I did it different, so it had to be Cancer. Where it's like this card right here, second card, second row. I think Aquarius got it. I think Cancer got it. Capricorn had it, but it was like after a full layer of cards was already down. A lot into the future. You're sitting at the crossroads, Virgo, of the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords. What I like about this, it's almost like the Knight of Swords. I know it's not the Page of Swords, but it's almost like the Knight of Swords. It's like as quick as you're getting information, you're using it. And it feels like there's also a receptivity here. Like an openness, an intellectual openness. Moving into the future is Justice, the King of Swords, the Tower, and the Page of Swords. Page of Swords, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, King of Swords, Justice, who has a sword, with a tower, and the fire of that tower. Look at the fire of the tower. And then look at this Hermit. Oof, not Virgo playing with the magnifying glass. Oh, Virgo, what are you doing? Virgo's like, after a thorough investigation into the matters at hand, the tower is coming down. Pulls out the magnifying glass. Lightning strikes the tower. Oh my gosh! Virgo's playing with ants on the sidewalk again. Torturing them, Virgo. Okay, anyway. Honestly, the whole suit is here. This is interesting. It's interesting because the Knight of Swords, his sword is upright. Queen of Swords, his sword is upright. King of Swords, his sword is upright. The Page of Swords, his sword is down, but that doesn't feel like Virgo. All of these swords are raised, but the Sword of Justice is face down. What's that about, Virgo? I think this is so. There's this. I guess. See, this is what happens when Virgo tries to be nice. Virgo's like, I've heard everybody talk about how particular Virgo is and how critical Virgo can be. And you know what? All we try to do is make things better. But if you don't want to hear it, it's okay. So Virgo is like evaluating and evaluating and evaluating, not passing any judgments. Virgo isn't saying a word. Virgo's observing. Virgo's witnessing. Virgo's like, I would do this. I would do that. Like, don't say anything. Don't say anything, Virgo. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. And then the tower falls. The tower falls on this Page of Swords. And it's like, Virgo, why didn't you say anything? Because you said that you didn't want to hear anything from me. So it's almost like your lack of participation in something could be what's causing this tower. But if that's the case, it's like, y'all got a message like this recently. I don't remember it at all. Honestly, I remember Steph's comment. That's how I remember it. I remember that Steph left a comment. I can't remember what the comment is or was or said, but it's because of the comment that I remember the vague tonality of, that I vaguely recall that y'all got something like this. Y'all were also the last sign. I think the last time I went through all the signs too. It was just like Virgo, sometimes you got to let people find out for themselves. And it feels like you're still in that right here. Maybe after letting people find out, maybe you're going to come into a balance where you don't want to. It's like if someone's not asking for help or if they're not open and receptive to it, then you don't give it. If they are asking or if they are receptive and if it is your place to assist, then do it. Because it feels like Virgo sees all of these birds that the person themselves doesn't see. It's not your place, but it's like the person doesn't see all of this happening. And so it's like they don't know why something is happening. But Virgo very much so sees it, isn't saying anything about it, maybe pretending like they don't see it because we see the blind justice again. But they do. All of these swords are upright. You may be in a tempering phase, um, Virgo, because I'm thinking of, because here's the fire here, right? And usually there's a star inside the lantern. So you're learning to balance like the luminosity of your star with the heat that it produces because you don't want to burn anybody. And so again, it feels like you're finding a balance. Because if you see something, should you say something? You can also, again, it's not like if someone's not asking, if it's like unsolicited advice, an unsolicited opinion, if ain't nobody asked for it and you're providing it, that's one thing. But if you are feeling like led and guided to say something, or if someone is asking you, if they approach you with like, hey, like, Virgo, you usually have a pretty discerning eye, and I'm doing this thing and I want it to be like perfect. So like, can you give me some tips? Can you give me some pointers? Can you help me out? Right. It's like, what did they say? Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. But I don't know. I don't know if you're learning your delivery. It's also interesting that, like, again, there's so much air on the table. And then the tower. The tower can be an energy of earth. I've never necessarily felt it that way before, but it's almost like the tower can be an energy of earth, almost like a mountain, because like an extension of the landscape almost. But it's obviously man made. That's the only difference. It's not natural earth, it's like man made earth. But you did have the hermit like come out for you. It's just so gosh darn airy. I'm honestly at a loss, Virgo. I think if I were to read this a different way, following the first thread, It feels like, or it seems like it's reading like you're in a position where you're gathering information and you're using it real time. You're gathering it and using it, gathering it and using it. If you see a result, you know it's for you. This is like justice is you applying your discernment. Either you're applying your discernment through thought, because it's all over the table, or you're applying your discernment by like trial and error. You're trying it. If it works, you're exploring it. If it doesn't work, you're shelving it and you're moving on. And I think this also plays in here because it's almost like there may be certain things in your life that you are trying to change. There are specific things that you're manifesting. And so, like, all of this is done to see whether or not change comes to those areas. If this is the case, then I would say don't neglect your own intuitive insight. Don't neglect your own inner knowing. If that is the case, I would say turn the fire back into a star and put it back in a lantern and use that to guide you forward. Because with this page of swords, it's almost like it's not working. Or you may be in a time of experiencing diminishing returns on things that don't originate from within you or that hold limited resonance within you. Ultimately, if I take both of those together, it's just like it almost feels like a time for you to focus on you, a time for you to pour into yourself, a time for you to invest in yourself, and to not be so quick to throw yourself to the wayside to help others. Or it's at least to have enough and to hold enough energy to have something to give to you. Because you also deserve it, Virgo. That's not like self love when you love on yourself. What time is it? Oh my gosh. Is it really only like 8 o'clock? It's only 8:42. If I don't go live at like 10 o'clock at night, like I've been on here for almost 3 hours, I'm like, is it 2 o'clock in the morning? Anyway, sorry. I got something to do before 11 or midnight, but anyway. Um, Something about this feels very. The word misguided pops into my head, but that's not what I'm looking for. Um, this is really complex and not heavy, but weighty. You know what? I'm going to take myself away and I'm going to give you the opportunity to look at this. And I'm going to give you a second to sit with this to see if there's anything that you get out of it. It feels like you're navigating several almost major life changes at the same time. And at the heart of it, or one of the things, is that like how you interact with the world, how you evaluate the world, how you like talk to people or treat people. Again, it plays into that trope or that stereotype of holding other people to your standards. But at the same time, it feels like you're being called to like invest in yourself more and to not do like a full retreat, but to just, like pour into yourself. I think it's also a time, if you have been gathering a lot of information over a certain however long, it's time to start putting that information into play and finding out what works for you, finding out what sticks. Because I don't know, it feels like it's a time of self exploration and self development, but it also doesn't feel like it's necessarily for you to completely unplug from the world either. But at the same time that you're not unplugging from the world, it's like you don't want to do too much, because it's not necessarily for you to be giving unsolicited advice to everybody about how they could be doing better. But at the same time, it feels like it's not for you to be so inside of yourself that if someone were to approach you for help, that it's not for you to help them. At the heart of this is finding and establishing and enforcing boundaries. Again, like it just feels like there's so much going on here. Like there's so much. Um, and again, it just feels like you're sort of, maybe you're not learning, because again, with all of the raised swords, maybe you're not learning all of that, but you're starting to like put a lot of different stuff into play. You're finding a new balance. And at the same time that you do that, you're going to be adding a warmth to your glow. That's going to be really nice. Feels very cozy. There's anybody that I trust with the fire, it's Virgo. No fire sign. Probably not a water sign, and definitely not an air sign because we're not looking for combustion. So it'd be an earth sign, but earth puts out fires, right? So, but Virgo, I don't know, something about you, it feels balanced enough that like you're coming into this space of like allowing things to be. Maybe that's also a result of like self love or something. There are things that you can allow within yourself to also be. I don't know. That's what you get, Virgo. That's what you get from me. It's a you thing. But all the best. Again, it feels like a very significant point. It feels like the meeting of, or the marriage of many like schools of thought. Oh, girl, I went all night without anything falling on the floor. I'll take this for you, Virgo, since I'm still talking to you. And then at 3 hours, I'll get my final card. Oh gosh, oof. I'm getting old. Can't get down like I used to. Oh, my legs are in the way. Oh, ow. Who is it? The Emperor and the King of Wands. Virgo. The Emperor. The Emperor and the King of Wands. So it feels like you're being asked to step up in personal matters and maybe take a step back in interpersonal matters. Like be an emperor for self and a king of wands for others. Bottom of the deck is the fool and the star. Page of wands. Um, well, here's the fire that I said I wouldn't trust to not combust all the air, but you're Virgo, so you can manage it. You can balance it out. Um, Again, this just feels like, just be mindful not to overstep. Like, this fool feels like it's gonna happen as you're learning where your boundaries are, or maybe it's already happened, and that's why you may be in the like no. Um, but it's like be careful not to sort of like get inundated with or drown in the waters of others, because it's like There are certain things that are between like people and the divine, them and their creator. Their creator will help them through it. But again, it's like it's not for you to not be a source of like warmth or to be one of the guiding lights along the post that leads them to spirit. It's like if there are many lights that light up a path. Um, yeah. But it's not to do it at detriment of self either. To still have energy to put into you. So there you go, Virgo. There you go, there you go, there you go, Virgo. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, boom. No problem. Woo, goodness, it feels like it. Thank you. I can't believe Libra was an hour. Not Libra being a full hour. What? Final cards at 25522 because I like the numbers. All right, and I'm done. That's the end. All right. Not gonna take it, but the death card. Prime use, double majors. I know I keep saying I need to find a deck that matches it in size. I need to find a deck. It's gonna happen. I'm not taking those either. Y'all gotta hit the table today. Not the floor. If you hit the floor, I'm putting you back in the deck. Hit the table. I could have caught that with my pinky. Bottom of the deck. Ooh, is my favorite devil card. Oh my gosh. Lover said, devil who? Don't know him. Don't know her. Sorry. I was like, thanks for like your part in bringing us so close together and for making our bond unbreakable. Ooh, I live for that. Who came out? Oh no. Goodness. Well, if this card has to come out, I'm glad that this one is at the bottom of the deck. Maybe it's just like symbolic of the times. We are in a time of freeing ourselves of things that used to keep us bound in the past, of exploring ourselves and the world with less of external judgments on like what we should or shouldn't, whatever. Um, and it's like it's a time where we can hand over like authority, or it's a opportunity for the exchange of authority. It could also be moving forward. Things may be picking up in pace or changing in flavor in a way where we may not have as much control as we would like, but it's to not be. It's like it's to not surrender control. Like there's a difference between not being in control of something and surrendering control of something. And it's just to like it's to maintain a sense of self and to maintain a presence as we are navigating into like unknown territory. Even if you don't know what's happening, even if you don't know what just happened, even if you don't know what's going to happen next, it's to have a healthy sense of self and to just show up and do your best. No one's asking you to know anything or everything. All we can do is our best. And that's what like this card is like us doing our best no matter what. And we don't have to have the reins to be doing our best. So, all right. Have an excellent night, Steph. All the best, everyone. I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. It has been fun, I guess. And yeah, I'll probably do the affirmators next. Um, but there is some stuff that I really want to get done. So maybe the day after tomorrow. Depending. I've been gymming later. Like 9, well, 9 was like early. Like between 10 and 11, maybe 12. Like 12 used to be late for us. But we've been going at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock. And it's like by the time I gym that late, I feel like the whole day is over. Anyway, um, I don't know if I've ran through it. If I did, I'll do it again. I hope you have an excellent whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and way you find in a way that's helpful. I hope that you are using your intuition and discernment. I hope that you are open to being led and guided. I hope that as certain lenses um, are ready to be cleared, that you can do so. I hope you the wherewithal to be able to maintain presence, even in the face of the unknown. And I don't know if it's because opportunity, it's almost like, I don't know if it's because opportunity is sly in a way that it's always there. Even when it doesn't look like it's there, it is there. And if there is a sly opportunity, it may require something that you've healed recently that gives you a freedom and flexibility and movement that you might not have had in the past. Doorways open to you that wouldn't have been able to be opened before just because you wouldn't have seen them. It's that slyness and opportunity. Things you wouldn't have asked or whatever you wouldn't have dare said or you wouldn't have considered or whatever. More is possible now. So until next time, good night. 555. There you go. Straight from Holly. Thank you.